Galaxy S23 will come with something so powerful that when you're holding the phone, you ask yourself, why hasn't Samsung done this any sooner? It's so powerful, in fact, that even Apple is getting nervous about this. I'll talk more about this throughout the video, so keep watching. Galaxy S23 is being released on the 17th of February 2023, and you already know I'll be one of the first people to pre-order that phone. The Galaxy S23 isn't going to be too different to the design seen on the Galaxy S22 this year. The only change that Samsung is planning on really making is removing the camera bump at the back around the camera housing. I personally think this is the most stupid thing you can do, because starting from the Galaxy S21 series at the start of 2021, Samsung actually had an identity. If you're in public and you see someone on the phone, you see someone using the phones, you can instantly tell if that's a Samsung device or not because of the camera housing at the back. Samsung obviously refined this with the Galaxy S22 series, because the S23 Ultra got rid of that and they had like separate camera islands. I'll call it camera islands. But instead, but the S22 and the S22 Plus kept the camera housing. So I'm a bit confused as to why Samsung wants to get rid of that camera bump at the back that makes them unique compared to everyone else. Nowadays, it's extremely difficult to tell what phone someone is using just by staring at the front of the screen, because most Android manufacturers are copying Samsung's hole punch display. So being able to tell what phone it is from the back will make it stand out and will make your phone have more authority. The Galaxy S23 will have a similar camera layout as that on the S23 Ultra. This just further backs my point, because what is the reason of having an Ultra model when even the design is not going to be different? I like what Samsung did this year, where the S22 Ultra had a completely different design. It's more boxy, its camera layout is completely different, it's got more of a curved display compared to the base S22 and S22 Plus. I thought they were going to mimic that with S23, because if you ain't broke, don't fix it, come on. Why is the S23 and the S23 Plus having the same camera layout as the S23 Ultra? It's just a bit confusing and stupid, really. It doesn't make sense, but that doesn't disregard the fact that it's a beautiful design nonetheless. If you're curious about the big upgrades coming to the S23 models next year, then I recommend watching through the video and listening to the points I'm going to talk about, because they will help you better understand what I'm going to talk about in a minute. If you're this far into the video, it shows you're enjoying it. So if just one of you guys watching could hit that subscribe button down below, it would greatly and tremendously help the channel out. Thank you. The dimensions seen on the Galaxy S23 next year is going to be taller than that seen on the Galaxy S22. This is not great news for someone with small hands and someone that needs a compact phone, because I think Samsung nailed it when it came to compactness this year on the Galaxy S22. It was a really small, rounded phone that could fit right in the palm of your hands, and it definitely easily wins the best looking phone out of the different models they brought out, the S22, S22 Plus and S22 Ultra. The base S22 was a really beautiful piece of work. However, there's something good to smile about with this bigger display and bigger overall form factor of the S23, because again, this links to the massive point I'm going to make in just a moment. Now, the Galaxy S23 won't come with a massive camera improvement. In fact, all the main improvements for hardware, when it comes to the hardware of the camera, is going to come to the Galaxy S23 Ultra. And this is expected because, you know, it's a top end model. They always have to keep improving it every year. But the base and the plus version of the Galaxy S23 isn't going to really see that much of a hardware upgrade compared to the Galaxy S22 this year. So if you have a Galaxy S22 and you want to upgrade just because you want a better camera system, then you shouldn't really consider the Galaxy S23, because you ain't really going to see much of a difference between the S23 and S22. The Galaxy S23 Ultra is, however, going to see a massive jump from 108 megapixels to 200 megapixels. 200 freaking megapixels. That is mind-boggling, but that video is for later on in the week, so make sure you're subscribed. However, the Galaxy S23 will see some software improvements to its camera next year. That's something that all major phone manufacturers have to do. They have to upgrade their phone in at least one aspect, or one sort of way each year to, like, you know, show the customers that there's some improvements. So you see some software upgrades when it comes to video stabilization, the telephoto camera, and low light improvements. For all the information we have so far, I would say not to get the Galaxy S23 if you just want camera improvements. It's not worth it, really. Now let's talk about the big leak that all you guys have been waiting for. It's been confirmed for about a week now that the whole lineup of the Galaxy S23 will receive a Snapdragon chipset. That means it's going to be received in Europe, Asia, and the United States. So the whole world will have the Snapdragon version. Exynos is gone for this year. which is great. Qualcomm has confirmed that Samsung will increase their utilization of Snapdragon chips from about 75% to 100%. This means that in Europe, Asia, and America will all receive the Snapdragon chip. And this is great news for Europeans and Asians because Exynos has been like a plague to us. Samsung really did sell us a dream with the Exynos 2200 this year. We thought we were getting a beastly powerful chip with great CPU and the big boy AMD GPU, but instead it really did not live up to its hype. Like, we didn't even get an official ad. We didn't get an official ad from Samsung or like an official press conference from Samsung talking about the Exynos 2200. That just goes to show how much confidence they did not have in this chipset. Fortunately though, the whole world will get to see the Galaxy S23 lineup fitted with the Snapdragon chipset. This means that we'll see an improvement in GPU, CPU, and battery efficiency. The one I'm most excited about is the battery efficiency, because most smartphones nowadays, they have powerful CPUs, they have powerful GPUs that can run almost any game throughout it, run almost any taxi throughout it, but the main thing that most phones aren't really good at is battery life. The iPhone is just next level with that, but most Android phones, we're still struggling to, consistently hit that 8 to 9 hours, even 10 hours of screen on time. So battery efficiency is what I'm the most excited about next year. TSMC has an extremely efficient manufacturing process, more efficient than that of Samsung, which is why we saw this major improvement in the iPhone 14 Pro models when it came to performance. Well, Qualcomm uses the same TSMC manufacturing on their Snapdragon chips, so that's why I'm really excited to see the battery improvement next year on the S23 Ultra specifically. If you haven't gotten the Galaxy S22, S22 Plus, or S22 Ultra yet, and especially if you live in Europe or Asia, I'd highly recommend you wait for the Galaxy S23 series to really see what the Snapdragon chips are talking about, because the major improvements you'll see compared to the Exynos chip will likely be really major. But if you still want to see if the Galaxy S22 series fits your needs, or if you can't wait till February, which is 3 months away, then watch this video here right here to see my review on the Galaxy S22 Ultra after a whopping 9 months of use. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter, the link is going to be in the description down below. And I'll catch you in the next one.